Here we go. One, two, three, boom, boom, boom. Hi, welcome to Control Talk Now, your smart buildings videocast and podcast for the week ending October 7th, 2018. This is episode 286, where we talk about all things smart building control, HVAC control, and other stuff too. I am joined by your co-host and mine, the man, the myth, the legend, the one, the only. Pump on your chest a little bit, Kenny. Kenny Smyers. The control man from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Man, Kenny, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. I can't believe how fast time's going. We're looking already 1/3 of the way through October, and it's going fast. And we're rapidly approaching the January, the big moment, the Control Trends Awards, and of course, we're going to be talking about that nomination real quick. But we only got a couple of real quick sparse posts to go through. But we got a great guest as usual. I mean, this is
fantastic guest. Oh my goodness, this is going to be awesome.
And he's got some real news. I mean, he's got some really interesting stuff about one of the top manufacturers in our business is really pushing the envelope.
Right, and doing some great things. So, well, let's start with the ballots. So the nomination ballots are out. We posted those this week, and you can go to Control Trends. You can see them. And a couple things you need to know about the ballot. The way the nomination ballot works is we have some categories that already have names in them because people have written in and said we should be in this category. But most of them, you need to be nominated. There's a thing that says other. So if you're one of the first people to get the ballots, you'll see some of the things, and there's no names. There's just a thing that says other. Other basically means you write them in, okay? You write the product, the company, or the people, primarily the people. And once we get one nomination vote, Kenny goes in, they become officially put on the ballot, okay? So that's something, if you're one of the first people to get the ballot, you see that, don't be put off by that because those will be flushed out very, very quickly. But you need somebody in the community to nominate you. So do that. Right, Kenny?
Yeah, well, I mean, the good news is that, Eric, we've had an immediate response to the ballot. And part of, or most of the issues that you were referencing there have already been solved because, we had an immediate response. So every category now is populated. So I don't think many people will have that issue. But if they do, like you said, just hit the other button, type in who you want. We would remind everybody to please put a name and a company. Yes. Every once in a while, somebody means well, but they don't fill out the ballot correctly or don't put the company name on.
And that M. Mouse for Consulting Engineer of the Year, we just don't know what company M. Mouse is with, so we didn't put him down.
Well, there's things like that, but I think it's good to see such a good, healthy response. It's exciting. Again, time's going by so fast. Next thing you know, it's going to be Thanksgiving. Next thing you know, it's going to be Christmas. Next thing you know, we're going to be in Atlanta, and we're in the not the last mile, but the last quarter for sure, and a lot of good stuff. So
right, and it's important too to keep in mind that this other option is probably going to disappear in about 2 to 3 weeks. Because Kenny has to go there and check. So in other words, the final nomination period, there'll be a set number of people. So definitely, if you don't see a product, a person, or a company on there that you think is deserving, make sure to vote sooner rather than later in terms of your nomination so we can get those up there and working.
Right. And then the top 5 or 6
we'll go on to the finals.
We'll go into the final vote. So as Eric just said, if you don't see somebody that you think, hit other, and then we'll add it to the ballot. Yeah. And then, probably 30 days from now, the nomination period will end, and then we transition into the voting phase. So.
Right. So definitely get on that. And then the other thing is you can definitely take a link to that post, and you can send it out to your network. Let them know. That they can vote too, and that's the way you get the word spread. So I know if it was me and I was going to do something, I'd be sending to everybody I know in the industry, going, "Please vote for me." Right? So.
Well, that's the way you run, Eric. That's the way you roll. No, I'm not just kidding. But to your point, marketing people out there, marketing gurus, and all your social media experts. This is where you really want to push. This is where you want to push because the phenomenal aspect of this is that there's no losers, really. If you really truly take advantage of this Control Trends opportunity and you take an active steps to get your products, solutions, your people recognized, you put them on a nomination ballot, and then you send marketing collateral to Control Trends, which we post in support of your nomination. And that would continue on to the voting stage. But the thing is to get involved, get active now, because the people that have that are geared towards it get a head start. And
they do. They do.
It's really hard to put a break on that, and right. I don't think we should, because that's what it's all about. Somebody that's excited to participate, make sure that they get involved early, they get their community energized, they get their colleagues energized. In the engineering departments, the engineering community is getting really involved, and they're interested in contractors now. We're seeing some unique things happening where the executive of the year aren't being just confined to the manufacturers. We had a couple of executives of the year that are in the distribution channel.
Yes,
and and same with the support
contractor, a smart system.
Exactly, if they're well recognized by the Control Trends community for the incredible what they're doing with our industry and how they're changing it from inside, regardless if they're a contractor, distributor, or a vendor.
Right.
It measures. People recognize those names, and they're very supportive of those people. So they're realizing the success of their hard work.
Yeah, and if you think about what we've done, Kenny, and we started out with primarily just manufacturers. We've gone from there. We have the Systems Integrator of the Year award has come up. That's still on the ballot this year. So if you're a systems integrator, definitely nominate your favorite systems integrator. If you're a consulting engineer, then Enlightened Consulting Engineer Year of the Award is another one we have. A new one we added this year is we call it the Impact Player of the Year Award, and that could be it could be a marketing person, it could be a salesperson, it could be a trainer, but somebody that's out having an impact and helping to create a market. So that's kind of wide open, and that could be a manufacturers, a distributors, or even a systems integrators.
Well, Eric, really cool. The first thing that we saw was we already had a global response. We had one of the contractors was nominated as Systems Integrator of the Year from Mexico, and one of the systems integrators from Canada was nominated already. So they've got fans and people out there paying attention to it. So it's a good process, and we're excited, and we'll have more to say every week.
Yeah, let's take care of a couple of the posts real quick, and then let's get to our guests. What do you say, Kenny?
Yeah, let's wrap up real quick, because one of the good things about the Ken St. Clair buildings, automated buildings, is that he comes out monthly, and he's dependable like the British train system, because this month's October edition is education, and it's spelled in a way that makes it a pun. And Ken St. Clair, we say here, Ken's deliberate play on words delivers yet another deep deliberation on humankind interactions, integrated and deployed with hatching technologies and how they are soon to reside within the smart holistic building space with its occupants and the AI-enabled edge devices. And Ken St. Clair's has got something here, because he's getting a tremendous following on people that really believe that this is happening. Last week we talked about the architect, William Lloyd Wright, and how he had the vision back in the 50s that we're living through now. And we're actually, like you said, the architects were way ahead of the game always. It was getting the engineers, getting support, and having a practicality. But it was seeded back then, I think. So Ken does another good job. Some great articles to read too from various people. Mark Peacock has another great new dialogue in smart buildings, which became a post this week. The education of a never-ending story, Leo Salami, George Brown College. So we're getting some input from people that are following Ken St. Clair's theme, and they really see the merit in it. So at first it's kind of silly, but it's not silly at all. It's really what's going to happen.
I think he's on it. And Ken normally is on the show. He'd normally be talking. He's in Italy someplace, so we will catch up with him when he returns, and we will cover a couple of his episodes, plus his involvement with AHR coming up. So cool, Kenny. And then Mark Peacock had a great post that we repurposed out of that was great. Mark Peacock from Link Spring.
Yeah, what was really neat about it is if you go into the post and you drill down, there's a couple links in there to take you to the value propositions, which is kind of it's a throwback to a post he put on the October automated building. So Mark's been very busy, but the big thing I liked about this post here was there was a complete list of the dialogue used then and the dialogue used now. In other words, we're going through a change, and what was important 10 years ago, what were the highlights, and what were what everybody in the C-suite was really truly focused on. That sweet spot has moved somewhere else, and I think it's really well summed up that
right. And you go to Control Trends, and you can read all about it.
Yeah, technology has changed the sweet spot, changed the game, and that's a great article. Next up, Eric, we had it's National Cybersecurity Month, and we're going to have a post on that. NIST is a source of a lot of really good guidance. We congratulate the work that everybody's been doing in the industry to keep things going. Fred Gordy, hats off to him. He's staying extremely busy. And Mark has a nice post on cybersecurity. And
that being said, Kenny, there has been a lot of email stuff going around. It has viruses in it, and we've seen 2 or 3 from different sources. So be really, really careful, because they'll come in with somebody that I don't know if they're hacking into people's systems and using their email, or they're just smart enough to go, we know that this guy is a such and such vendor, so therefore they just put that in the title. But just be really, really careful. We've heard 2 or 3 instances this week where well-known, regarded companies have had their names used, and just be careful.
Yeah, it was a payment scam. They changed the an ACH information, and wow. Anyhow, that you'll read about that in the news, I'm sure. And then the last post of the week, Eric, was the Vicon Integrated Analytics Enterprise Security Updates and more. We get a nice post there from Vicon, from Tritium, and basically they come up with some, they're doing some real hard, heavy lifting behind the curtains there at Tritium, and they're very proud to announce that the Vicon Integrated Analytics 2.1 brings the ability to create and run energy reports to the end user. 7 new energy report templates are now available with this release, and they're configurable from a web UI and can be saved for future use. So the rest of the post, please visit it and check it out. And it's got the data sheets, the release notes, the brochure, and a PowerPoint on integrated analytics.
Very, very cool. When you talk about somebody could be, quote unquote, an impact player, to give you an example, Ed Merwin from Tritium, impact player. He's a guy that came along and he changed the industry. Kind of Roger Rebanek used to be with Honeywell Jackson Controls. He's another example of somebody that could be an impact player. Tim Vogel from KMC right now is one that you could call an impact player. There's some trainers out there that are great impact players. Phil Zito might even be considered an impact player. Guys like Mike Marsh and Lim Hu Chat. So there are a ton of them, and we're really looking for the community to put up the people that they think have had the biggest impact in 2018, be they a trainer, a marketing person, or a salesperson. So with that, Kenny, talking about a guy that plays impact ball, how about introducing our guest this week, I should say?
Love to. So I always get excited when we get one of the executives that's really part of the tip of the spear type of guy. Johnson Controls is on a roll, and a great deal to do with that is the Director of Independent Distribution Channel of North America, Mr. Dan Preston. Welcome to the show, Dan.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Well, dude, we are
tip of the spear.
Tip of the spear. Well, you know what, Ken? Kenny means that as a compliment. I know in some places that might not be a compliment, but he means it as a compliment.
Well, I'll tell you what. When you think about the 4 things we're going to talk about today, we're going to talk about the roadshow, the JCI roadshow, the acquisitions, new technology coming into an already a major manufacturer of controls. We're talking about the Verisys, which is on a roll, and I understand you're going to re-roll that out. I've got to see at the CGNA meeting, and then the FX IP controllers, and all these are what we consider the top trends. These are really important. The training aspects are critical. Acquisitions to get new technology and collaborate quickly is critical. So that's what I meant. It was a compliment because I think.
I absolutely take it as a compliment. I'm just having fun.
All right.
Yeah. Well, Dan, I tell you what, we really like your camera because you're coming in, it could be Dan Preston, it could be Bill Belichick, man. It's like 2 great minds in New England, and our community needs to know right off the bat that,
we knew that was coming. We knew that was coming.
We know that Dan taught Bill Belichick a lot of what he knows. And but Dan, I tell you what, before we sort of hit these topics, tell our community a little bit of background about you, how you got in the industry, sort of your path along with Johnson Controls, because you've got a lot of great experience, which I think lends to your great leadership qualities.
Yeah, thank you. I started 1981 as a co-op student at Northeastern University, electrical engineering grad. And as a co-op student, I worked with a gentleman named Arthur Ornberg, who was my mentor. Great man. We were energy engineers. So that was my foray into the controls world, as an energy engineer. We didn't call it performance contracting, but that's what we did. Went from there, I worked for mechanical contractors running control divisions. Worked for distribution. I spent some time with Honeywell, and for the last 13, going on 14 years, I've been with Johnson Controls, always in the product side of the business. as an account manager, as a territory manager, now running the entire independent distribution channel, which I completely enjoy.
Well, congratulations, Dan. I mean, with that background, it's no wonder why, Johnson's doing so many great things right now. So, and on top of that, guys, Dan's the type of guy you sit down and have a beer with. He's all around good guy. And so again, we're very, very happy to have you on the show. So, there's so much going on at JCI, but let's start off with the road show. Tell us about that, why you guys do it, and where you're heading.
Yeah, so the road show is very important to us. It's an answer to concerns that customers have expressed. Number one, when we have our typical business conference, I would have brought more people if there was more technical training kind of comments. At our advisory council and in other customer visits, I can't grow my business because I can't get technically trained folks. So training is a big deal. And it can be a limiting factor if there's not enough trained folks out there. So the road show is all about technical training, and we're real excited about that. We'll have a running showcase-like theater in the backdrop, but there'll be continuous training for two full days around our core products. There'll be training around refrigeration. We'll be centered on our A525, our cold storage controller. Very excited. That integrates into Verisys. Very happy about that. Hands-on stuff, not labs and wiring and doing the things that need to be done to enable systems. There'll be a training session on Verisys along the same way, configuring and commissioning a Verisys system, training around our FXIP controllers, and take some of the risk away in dealing with FXIP and getting in the IT world, real focused there. And on we go. So it's hands-on. It's really for HVAC service technicians, folks who are interested in the business. Real excited about it. We have it in Chicago, Phoenix, and Philadelphia, beginning on 10/30, October 30th, the end of this month, and then Phoenix on 11/6 and Philadelphia 11/13. Happy to give you the link on your site for folks that are interested. Love to have you. And if you do show up and you mention Control Trends, we'd be happy to reduce your entrance fee by $50. How's that?
Wow.
Or whatever it takes. We want folks there.
Dan, hey, Dan, hang on real quick, Kenny. Let me just say something real quick, because you guys rolled a road show through Atlanta last year, and I can tell you firsthand, the format is absolutely awesome. I mean, there's no wasted time. There's no fluff. It's kind of like you just said. You can come down, you learn about the product, get your hands on, you get your hands dirty, you walk away knowing how to work with the products, and you guys got some great products. So
that's it. A very cool thing about the road show. There's always a concern of missing time at work or missing time on a project. Here you go to the training that you want to go to, and you can leave. There's no requirement or expectation for you to be there the entirety of the event. You can certainly you can go to multiple classes if you choose to, but once you're done with the class, you can go, unless there's a reason why you want to hang around. Love to hang around with you, but it's an open house type of forum.
That's a great feature, because I know there was a sensor guy back in the day. Anytime you went to one of his things, you were like hostage forever, right? You could not get away, and if you did, you were sort of frowned upon. Discounts change, so that's a great feature right there. Come get what you want, leave when you're ready to leave, and that's great.
Yeah,
Kenny, I just gotta say firsthand, man, this is from firsthand experience. This is time well spent, and the fact that you're getting $50 off. You mentioned Kenny Smyers, the man, the myth, the legend.
Normally they have a cost you extra.
And hell, if Dan's here, you mentioned Bill Belichick.
If they mentioned Kenny, 51.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah. If you mentioned Bill Belichick, Dan will give you $100 off, right?
Well, Dan, I just want to say a couple of things. We already put a post up on this because we were really excited. Now, is this? I see it's national in scope. So you named 3 cities, but it goes on. It actually will go back through Atlanta. Yeah. And it's going to go to Texas. We actually have a schedule. Correct. But in Houston, Dallas, and then Orlando, Jacksonville. I mean, this is huge. And so tell us about the team you put together. I mean, do these guys get their own VIP coach and they travel in a bus, or this is going to be they assemble at every location and start with a different environment?
Yeah, it's our team putting it all out there. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of people, a lot of Johnson folks engaged. Big investment on our part. We're expecting 100 to 150 people to maximize our classes. So seating and attendance is limited. So if you're interested, please register soon and get on board. So that's, yeah, it's a big lift. It's a big lift. It's a lot of individuals working, bring it to you folks, and do the right thing for our technicians.
I like the marketing spin too. Johnson Controls announces Veris is turning up the Smart Roadshow, because I think part of the things that you've been able to do is take some of your initial offerings and you've come up with iterations to make them better, to include the Verisys, and who is aimed at originally. You really come back and put a tighter focus on what the marketing sector might be, or section of the HVAC world, where this really would make a big difference. And it really, so if the contractors come there, they're going to get a very pleasant surprise that there's a very functioning, very profitable, proposition being made with Verisys.
Yeah, well, with Verisys, just a comment on that, on Verisys, Verisys in fiscal year 19. By the way, Happy New Year. Our fiscal year just got started October 1st. So hello, fiscal year 19. So we're very excited and look forward to a wonderful year. But in fiscal year 19 for us, Verisys will be restricted. So it's going to go the way of FX in terms of contracts and addendums to contracts and so forth, because we feel it's really the right thing to do to maintain value of the brand. And there'll be certifications required. So one of the values of the FX Roadshow or the JCI Roadshow will be certification around Verisys. So to make sure your folks or folks that are calling on the distributors are qualified and capable of installing the system as they need to be. So we're very excited about that as well. So it's an easy way to get yourself certified, get on board with Verisys, and be able to go out there and sell the product.
Yeah, and for our community, we've talked about Verisys in the past, and Kenny brings up a good point. It's expanding out, and you guys are fleshing the product out. But really and truly, it's a product that Kenny and I talk about the race to the small space, which is you got all these smaller buildings. So for our community out there that's listening, you don't have to be a full-fledged systems integrator to work with this product. You can, and you can start with that and you can go up. But Dan, just sort of frame up what the product is, so people that might not have heard of it yet will know what it is.
Sure. It's really a commercial real estate product that we say it's for smaller commercial mid-size, but honestly, it's much more powerful than that. It can certainly be very effective in a retail space or a convenience store, but can handle a very large office space. It can handle over 100 VAV boxes. So it's very scalable. What's beautiful about Verisys, no software tools needed. There's no laptop, no certain version of software, programming tools, etc. It's all configured basically over your phone. So through a Wi-Fi hub, we call the Smart Building Hub, and with that connection, you're just basically answering questions and configuring it in terms of the schedules you want, the name of the rooms, where the controls are, that kind of effort. It's minutes, it's not hours, it's not days. It's a very smooth process, very intuitive process. And in the end, you get trends, you get alarms, you get emails, you get information that's very convenient to access over your phone. So the tricky part really is just getting the wiring in. The technical part on the control systems, 80% of the lift is done for you. So all built on very hardened standard Johnson Controls applications. We're good at it. We've been doing this for a long time, way back from HVAC Pro years, if you remember those days, to today. Yeah. So very solid, very stable applications that work very well. So we're very, very proud of that as well.
Well, and I think a really cool thing too, sorry, Kenny, to hop in real quick, but a lot of the service-based contractors that are out there might already be installing or working on York equipment, which is a Johnson brand as well.
Yeah.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan, but you can actually order the equipment with it already in. So
that's correct.
You don't have to mount any controllers or anything. It's just embedded into the York equipment, correct?
That's correct. We call it smart equipment. So the equipment comes with a smart equipment controller, which allows it to pair up immediately with the smart building hub. So things get very simple from that aspect. If you choose to take it one step further, fault detection diagnostics are available. So we add sensors in the refrigeration circuit to give an HVAC technician the information they need to know that the system is operating correctly. No more gauges and hoses and that kind of thing. Basically, all that information available to you on your phone. Good news there is that you can detect a problem before it is a problem. So you can proactively fix things before it becomes an emergency. So very, very proud about that, and tremendous value to the product.
Right. And if you're a service contractor, your clients, we're going to demand that. I mean, I think, one of the headwinds we sort of faced in the past, Dan, with a lot of the service guys is they value those service contracts so much. They didn't want to risk it by putting in a system on top of it, because if it didn't work, it could backfire. But what we say now is, well, you better be giving your customers that. Your cost to serve better be driven down, or you might lose that service contract. So
this system is their friend. We made it for them. So and took out all the high-end controls programming level of interaction, and just basically brought it down to a simple install.
But for our owners or for our high-end integrators, I mean, you can still start out at this and you can scale into a Jace or whatever and do whatever you want if you want to, correct?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It scales up to Jace to Metasys, and it can take on the big stuff if that's what's required.
Right.
So it works well in, say, a big medical facility where they have a small administrative office maybe outside the main facilities, or clinics or whatever, and they want to integrate it into their major system. Absolutely doable.
And you know who hates this more than anybody, Dan? I'm going to let you hop in, Kenny, is our friend Kevin Fasinelli at Daikin, because Daikin thought they were the first people to come in and do this stuff. And where you could just basically, guy could walk up to the unit, configure it, get the data, and he's giving you 80% of what most, or 90% of what most owners are asking for. And now you come in here, Dan, you and your team, and Kevin Fasinelli is very upset with you. I just want you to know that. But of course, he's also he's also a Jets fan too. So he's super.
Well, that explains everything.
Well, there you go.
All right, Kenny, you've been chomping at the bit to ask some questions, so hop in there.
Well, no, I'm just trying to compliment what's been said already. But I think with the some of the things we've been following, Dan, is that the huge market out there that's underserviced and underserved is not the big vertical integrations. It's the light commercial stuff. And it's been very difficult to get a product portfolio that aims itself very well at the majority of those. And this one seems to be very well thought out, very well engineered, because it's easy to use, but don't let that reduce the formidability. It brings maximum energy savings, and you get immediate insight into your system. See, that's the hard part, is everybody wants the bells and whistles, but they don't want to pay for them, or they can't afford them.
Exactly.
It seems like this thing says it really truly given a simple interface that really it gives the data for immediate control of your environment. And that's where you retain tenants. That's where the real action is. So. And we always talk about the 330, 300 rule. Well, this gives you access. You get a player now in that 300 metric, because you can have happier occupants. They're going to be more productive, less absenteeism, and all that good stuff.
And the other message I would give,
all on your mobile device, which is great. It's all on your mobile device. We have a wonderful enterprise cloud service where if you have multiple facilities through a single interface on your phone, you can see all of the buildings. So wonderful interface for multiple sites or franchises or what have you.
Great. Well, go ahead. I was going to transition.
Yeah, well, let me hop in real quick, because I think this topic bears some more sort of scrutiny you're talking about, because I think the other thing too, and again, Dan, I think from a control standpoint, you guys have an established network of the full-blown Jace type contractors, master systems integrators type. You guys have a very rich portfolio that goes back from Metasys to FX. You go through the branch, you go through distribution, and you said it earlier. I mean, your stuff just works out of the box. It has been. You guys take a lot of pride when you launch a product. You take it out, it works. You guys have great technical support people. So, if you're risk averse, Johnson's a great choice for you right there. And I bring that up partially because,
thanks, Eric.
Oh, you bet, Dan. You guys have earned it. I bring it up partially because you guys have an established network playing at the higher end. And so for the group that's coming in, the service type based contractors, what I would encourage them to say is, hey, don't be afraid of something that can scale up. When we say scale up, you might go, I might not be able to do that, so I don't want to get it over my head, because you guys have got partners all across the United States, established systems integrators that would love to partner and work with a service type contractor. The service type contractor start with the Verisys, build it up, And then if the owner goes, hey, I want to take it to the next level, you guys got tons of options for that. So there's no reason at all to shy away from jumping on this.
Well, speaking of which, that's a good segue into your bread and butter products, which would be the FX IP controllers, and how there's been an increasing interest and the trend for IP controllers. Everybody is trying to get to an IP controller level. Some of the folks didn't have it, some of them did, but you always had that. Tell us about your series of the FX IP controllers.
Well, we're very excited about it as well, and I really feel there's going to be a waterfall-like impact on IP controllers and their usage in our market. Still some degree of hesitancy to jump on the IP bandwagon, but it's just a matter of time before that waterfall happens. So we're very excited to be part of that, and look forward to it. We've had great success. We just secured a project that has over 1,700 VAV boxes, all IP controllers on it. Yeah, huge hospital. Very excited about that through our independent channel. So very proud of that. Excited to help and see how that comes along. And folks are showing more and more interest in it. The whole, the value of the IP is really about, it's about speed, communication speed. And the more information that we're looking for on an IP network or on our networks, the more taxing it is on your basic, MSTP type network or typical type of field bus. So, in this whole information world, we need IP in order to support the expectations of customers. So, we got a lot, I think the industry has a lot, is just at the very beginning of this transition. Certainly, I think people are kind of experimenting with it to some degree. But again, I think it's just a matter of time where it's the standard, and there'll be a waterfall effect. And we're happy to be leading the way with our IP controllers, and more to come from Johnson Controls, that's for sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to play the dumb guy, which is pretty easy for me, which is, okay, so what's the big deal about IP controls? Why do people even care? I mean, IP versus...
That's a really good question. Yeah, that's a really good question. I think it's two things. I think one is security is a big deal, and having networks that aren't part of a secure network within a facility can be somewhat risky. So I think having them share information or being part of a secure network, I think, is very important. The speed of communication obviously is magnified. It's much quicker, and as the data requirements, as I mentioned, is the amount of data that we're looking at or being looked for in a system is going to grow. It's not going to shrink, and we need more robust communications in order to handle that. And I think at the same time, I think we're in this place where our phones, we're all IP connected, whether we like it or not. That's just the communication norm. Our phones are. We used to have old phone lines, if you recall, old modems, all that. It's always progressed to this place. I think the expense of it was probably keeping us from transitioning over earlier, but now componentry and such is in a manner that we can bring it in, and in a competitive manner that we have with our existing steel type controllers. So it's a lot of things coming together. Your question on where's the value? That's a really good question. I think time will tell there. But I think we're only seeing the very beginning of it in terms of just field controllers. The diagnostics in the cloud and what's to come that's going to really bring out the true value of an IP network is just beginning to show itself. But again, it will be the norm in just a short period of time.
So you don't see it being a fad at all?
Oh, no.
Oh, absolutely. No way. No turning back.
Well, Dan, I know that Johnson has always been a leader in the engineering field, and when you look at IP cameras, and they're being powered over the Ethernet, do you see a day where, we've seen this great Tesla Edison war take another turn where, Edison may have had it right after all, because I know that Johnson's in the battery business. Eric and I have talked about some of the incredible projects you all have transitioned to, and we've actually seen a kind of a demo of a building that's being powered by this car-sized battery, and it's using all the getting wind turbine generated juice, and it's getting solar photovoltaic so all the sustainable stuff goes into the battery, and then the battery powers all the power over Ethernet devices. I mean, do you think it's conceivable one day that that you're going to find most of your lighting, your cameras, even in your IP controllers, will all come out of some sort of a single like this battery concept. Is that
Yeah.
foreseeable?
Well, things are happening very fast, and we all know that. I think adaptation to some of those fast things, I think, isn't quite as fast as where the technology is. But the technology, look at LED lighting and what's going on in the LED world, and the minimum amount of power that's consumed with the LED lighting in buildings now, it's tremendous. And Wi-Fi mesh technology that is embedded in lighting systems and so forth. That it's just it's just incredible what the possibilities are technically. It's just a question of adaptation. But I think to answer your question, yeah, I think so, because the power consumed by some of these devices is so minimal that certainly a battery pack can support that in the manner that we're proposing. It can support that. So it's just again, I think things technically are moving very fast. Adaption's not quite as on the same pathway, but it's just a matter of time before those things come together.
I would agree.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, if you ever get a chance to go visit Johnson Controls and talk about this, Dan, you guys have a customer center up there, which I was fortunate enough to go to, and very, very impressive. But sort of along these same ideas, Kenny, they took us in the back room where the geniuses are, the guys that talk to Elon Musk and give him advice. And you guys keep those guys kind of locked up under lock and key, but you got some brilliant minds. And when they start talking about the things that they are working on, I think a battery powered building with Johnson Controls batteries in it is not too far fetched, and if it's not that, it'll probably be better. So you guys,
in fact, I think it's going to happen. I think these dots are being put out there, and now we're going to see like the adoption rate and adaptation rates are going to be what is the limiting factors. What areas are first to adopt, and it's going to be California. It's going to be all these people under the Title 24 gun, and they've already done these incredible buildings. And Eric and I were fortunate enough to get a tour of one, and it was just mind-boggling, where they go outside and they record the California sunlight outside of LA on a phone app and bring it in and plug it into their building automation or their building system, their IT system, not building automation, and it produces the same level of lighting. And it was extraordinary to think that this is the kind of technology that's there. It's just a matter of time. How long is it going to take to make its way into the markets and go through all the various challenges and barriers and whatever. And the adoption rate, I think what's going to happen is the new constructions, the new people, the new engineering group, and we're seeing a generation come in, and they want this now. They know it's there, and they're not afraid to make sure that
they love technology.
Exactly. So what they're gonna take it to the next level. So I think we all need to be prepared at our levels that this is not it's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Well, and I would say I would completely agree. And Dan, I would sort of get back, and sorry for talking over you there, but one of the things that I really admire, and you sort of alluded to this, is you guys are staying up with the technology and the changes, and at the same time, you guys are able to put out quality products. Talk a bit about your guys' philosophy with that, because that's quite a feat. I mean, it's one thing to be able to throw products out there and to try to keep up. It's another thing to throw products out there that actually are working really well. Speak a bit about Johnson's philosophy with that.
Well, we follow what we call our PDP process, product development process, which is a staged process that is tried and true over the years. And in the course of a product's development, you cannot go from one stage to another without completing the earlier stage. So it's a very deliberate, very again tried and true process. It takes time. There's no shortcuts, and we certainly don't take shortcuts. But it's lessons learned along the way, certainly as well. And then we go through a period of testing it out. But I think what differentiates us is that our degree of alpha and beta testing products isn't nearly as extensive as you might think, because we do so much up front to ensure quality and so forth. So it's more of it's a necessary thing that we have to do, obviously, but it's not as critical as it may be for others, because we do such a great job up front, such a deliberate job up front. But it is what we do, and we're very proud of it. And it's really, to me, what makes Johnson Controls stand apart is what you said earlier, Eric. And I really appreciate that. Is it's really the quality and stability of our products is really, and that's important, because who likes callbacks? Who wants to go back to a job and troubleshoot and find out, this crazy thing that's going on and try to get to the bottom of it, and, experiencing it for the first time. Folks on the technical support hotline might not be aware of it. I mean, we've all been in difficult situations, and nobody likes it. Costs money, keeps you from getting the next job done. So it's very important. So we take that very serious, and that's really, I think, what we really pride ourselves in. So I'm happy you brought that up. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're very welcome. And what amazes me is you do that. Then on top of that, you come out with the nest killer, right? You got this glass stat. Community hasn't seen the glass stat. I'm telling you what, Steve Jobs and those guys are not. He's rolling over in his grave right now looking at that thing. Yeah. Talk about the glass stat, if you will, real quick, because that's a beautiful, beautiful thermostat.
So proud of that product. A real challenge for us. We've been, we're Johnson Controls. We invented the thermostat, and we're back in the business. I'll talk more about that in a minute. But the glass stat to me is, for us control geeks, I think it's the most beautiful product I've ever seen. It brings a tear to my eye. It's just fantastic. It's just so, it's perfect for today. What's so cool about the transparency is that it adapts to whatever. So against a white wall, against a stone wall, against a brick wall, against any sort of marble wall, whatever it might be, it blends in and looks perfect wherever it might be. It's just a beautiful product. So far, so good. The reviews have been very positive on it. The things you worry about, that first experience, starting it, installing it, starting it, and getting it operating, all check pluses. So we're very happy about that. That's the stuff that keeps me up at night. And we're looking forward to a commercial stat that we're working on to bring out that will have BACnet capabilities and a more varied applications support around different equipment types. So glass is super cool, and we're very proud of it, and it's off to a great start, and we're really looking forward to it just going crazy in fiscal year 19. Make a great stocking stuffer, Eric and Ken.
No, you're right, and I got to tell you, Dan. I mean, we don't talk about this, but looks matter, right? I mean, ask any women.
It does.
We give, and your thermostat is an interior decorator's dream because, like you say, it goes with anything. And, we're hoping that you'll have the Ken stat eventually, the man, the myth, the legend stats that have pictures of Kenny on there. But for our listeners who have not seen this yet, it literally is a glass transparent thermostat. It's absolutely sleek. It's gorgeous. It's the type of thing that, and Nest sort of did that. I mean, if you think about it, they came out with it, that Nest thermostat, they came out with something that people were buying because they wanted to put it on their walls. Honeywell came out with a beautiful stat after that, but then this Nest, this glass stat is pretty spectacular. But I think more importantly, getting back to our service contractor base who maybe don't think about Johnson as much, because they're maybe doing residential and then going up to the commercial side. I mean, with this glass stat, this is something you can go to the homeowner and they're going to start asking for it, I bet.
Absolutely. And they are. So we're off to a good start, as I mentioned. We're very excited about it. It's a special product. In a customer event you mentioned, we love bringing customers up to our 7th floor, our showcase, and showing them where we're going and our roadmap and so forth. And when we show them glass, it's just eyes wide open, jaw drops. It's just amazing. And we've had a couple of end users that have come along with their contractors, some saying, that's what I've been looking for all these years. What's taken so long? And what's really interesting in our business, we put in $2 million systems and we put in these little plastic dials or plastic, sensors that just don't showcase the great work that we've done behind the sensor. And I think glass gives our business a bit of a boost because we do quality work. We install incredible systems. Typical wall sensors don't represent that, and I think glass does. So I think it, definitely adds value to the overall installation as well as we introduce the commercial stat.
Well, it's funny because with people trying to attract talent, this is something else Kenny and I've been tracking is that, a lot of these younger people, part of their decision-making process is the space or the environment they're going to work in. That includes everything from the temperature, the humidity, to the lighting, to how cool the thermostat looks on the wall. So, I mean, these are things that, 5, 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have to be so concerned about. We just want to make sure it worked. But now things like how it looks,
right,
how it feels, and how it controls, right, and accessibility with the smartphone is critical.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I just
No,
wanted to
go ahead.
add that one of the things that makes glass very unique too is it measures VOC. So there's a whole air quality level to it, which reading the reviews, people are very interested in that as well. And it's just another added feature, standard actually on the glass stat. Very, very impressive, very interesting. And you compare your indoor air quality to the outdoor air qualities. We picked that information up off the internet. So very interesting, unique feature about glass.
Oh, it sure is. And some of the things too, I think that I think it has to be told here too, is that it's a very durable. It's very well made. It's very rugged. We were at the HR show last year and saw it was mounted on the wall. And we were invited to go ahead and give it a tug. And I was surprised of the tensile strength. The mounting. This is not a fragile device. This thing's ready for a commercial application as well as residential. And
absolutely.
So I think you guys have also beefed it up a little bit to do exactly that. And I'm not going to steal the thunder yet, but you guys also made an acquisition that really strengthened the glass's positioning. Up to including one of the top guys in the thermostat business that now is overseeing your thermostat production department, because that's where the real money's at. When we talk about stuff, and we might as well get to the nuts and bolts of stuff. The number of thermostats sold in this country is phenomenal. It's staggering, and there's a great deal of stratifications, but people aren't afraid to spend a little bit of money, like you say, the stocking stuffers. Okay, take two. It's for real now, because the people that you've made it easy enough where a do-it-yourself or of any capabilities whatsoever can change his thermostat and put it in now, and so that's cool. So that you want to go through contractors as much as possible, but you also want to sell them to the consumer base that's out there, and then it makes sense, and we applaud that, and then I didn't want to steal all your thunder on it, but I had to transition to the Lux thing, because that's a pretty potent. So Warren S. Johnson invented the thermostat, and we actually inducted Warren S. Johnson into the Control Trends Hall of Fame last year, and that was one of the really interesting things. The fun things about that was to know how our history of this HVAC evolved, and why. He was a professor, and he got sick and tired of going down there and have to regulate the thing. So he created a device that controlled it from his classroom. And from there, the first electric thermostat was born. And now you guys are putting, a serious chase on some of the top thermostat manufacturers in the world. And again, it seems like you're going to try to, get yourself aligned into, or being known, that Johnson Control will be known as one of the top thermostat manufacturers in the world.
That's so exciting to hear and be part of. It's a great time to be with Johnson Controls as a customer, as a partner, as an employee, because we're just we so many things are happening, and we're really charging. Our Lux acquisition, as you alluded to, brand new, just announced. They have a beautiful array of products, very complementary to what we have. Very focused, very a full spectrum of from low-cost residential to real high-end, high-performing thermostat. So great name and reputation in the industry, which is wonderful. Talked with their leadership, and they're excited about the possibilities as we are. So it's going to, I mentioned, fiscal year 19 for us just underway, but it's off to a tremendous start, and we have so much to look forward to with Lux and other things that we got underway. So very happy about it. Can't wait to sell it.
We have one more acquisition we need to talk about. We need to talk about the acquisition of Triatech, which is one of the leading airflow people for critical environments, all the way down to fume hoods. That's another serious acquisition, huh?
Yeah. Frankly, long overdue. We've needed a laboratory fume hood solution for forever, and finally have it. Very happy with what we have. Great product, very innovative, technically very sound. And a full offering. So not just Venturi valves, sash sensing, and so forth. Fume hoods, actually, the furniture itself they supply, as well as all the controls and peripherals that go with it, as well as room pressurization, room monitoring. They have that as well. So they're in that business, and we're very happy to be part of it. Very happy to bring it into the Johnson Controls world, and it's just got tremendous, as you can imagine, tremendous opportunity for Johnson Controls to grow their business and grow opportunities for our partners as well. So very excited about that. Absolutely.
Good show.
Long overdue.
you guys are rocking and rolling. And when you talk about your product portfolio, I mean, it's really so deep and wide. And one of the things is, again, getting back to our service-based contractors that are, come on and listen to the show every week. This is Johnson Penn Basso. You guys own Penn Basso, and Penn's got a pretty cool thing. You guys got a big event coming up in Atlanta, as well as the Control Trends Awards.
Yeah.
Tell them about Penn Basso and what you're celebrating in Atlanta.
Yeah, so 100 years anniversary for Penn. Penn product, it just has a tremendous history in the OEM world. We sell so much of it, and there's businesses that are built upon selling Penn products. It's been a great marriage for many years with Johnson Controls, and it suits us in terms of, again, very stable, very steady, works, high quality product. We're reinventing it a bit. We're reinvented the logo, where our packaging is different, just to bring light to it and to brighten it up a lot. We're adding products to it. Our A525, as I mentioned earlier, as long as rack controllers are on their way, all integrated into Verisys. So very, very excited about that. So we're going to celebrate that, and we're going to celebrate it at ASHRAE. We're going to have a tremendous event. Invitation only, but we're going to reward all our partners that have helped support the Penn name and brought it into its existence, and have a wonderful time. So looking forward to that very much.
And if you can't make it, I think there's a strong possibility Kenny and I will be cutting the 300th show of Control Talk Now, the Smart Buildings Videocast and Podcast, and we're talking about possibly cutting that down there at your event at the Aquarium in Atlanta, which is a spectacular venue. We had an event. Yeah. It's incredible.
It's going to be fantastic, and love to have you there. It will absolutely add to the event, and please come. We'd love to have you.
Well, we had our 200th show was at your event in Nashville, your partner's event in Nashville. Wow. It corresponded with our 200th show, so we actually cut that up there at the show. So we seem to be in sync with you guys. Our circadian rhythms seem to be rocking.
There you go.
And of course, you guys will be represented in full force at the Control Trends Awards. JCI as a platinum sponsor. Without enlightened companies like Dan and JCI. I mean, the awards don't happen. It's the time we come together. It's the time we celebrate. And I suspect that we'll see the glass stat up for Thermostat of the Year. And you guys always tend to do very well with those awards.
Can't wait.
Thank you very much for your sponsorship there. So when you reach out to Dan.
My pleasure.
Yeah, you bet. You bet. So we appreciate that. And, man, what a great team you guys have. Everybody from Jenny Stentz, Chris Eichmann. I mean, your local reps are great. I mean, we love like Robert Harlan. We love the people that call on us. You guys are quality through and through. So, definitely, compliment you on the great company you guys have.
Yeah, that's so nice of you to say that. We talk a lot about the products, and that's what really drives us. But our people really are the difference makers, and I say that with all the confidence and assurity in the world. Our people are amazingly committed to their customers, being in partnership with them, helping them grow their business, doing the activities that they agree on that will help grow the business, following through, very professional. I just love what they do for Johnson Controls and do for our customers. So I'm very proud of them. Great team, always getting better, always working to get better. And they do the job. They as we wrapped up the year, always have a challenge in the last month of the year to get done what we got it done. You just had to see these folks digging in and just grinding and making it happen. It's just amazing. So very, very proud of the team. Very lucky to have them.
Well, great team. So when you come to the Control Trends Award, Dan will be the guy that's looking like Bill Belichick, pointing around and calling the audible awards. And he's got a few top ratings.
I jinxed him last year.
Pardon? You jinxed him last year?
I jinxed him last.
Well, I tell you what you did, but the year before you jinxed me. So, with Falcons. Dan, listen, man, I just cannot tell you how much we appreciate you taking the time to come on the show. And, best website for people. I mean, obviously you got a great distribution network. I would encourage you to stop by your local JCI distributor. There's one in every single city on the planet. And say Dan Preston sent you and buy something so Dan can get the numbers up even more. But you guys also have a really great comprehensive website. What's the best website for our community to visit you guys at?
Which is the best website?
That's right, JCI.com or
JCI.com will get you into the different portals. We have a FX community that is super informative, has great training material on it. Verisys website is also, you can just Google Verisys, you'll get right into it. Has numerous training videos and marketing collateral and so forth. Excellent. And a glass, we're standing up a glass site as well. So there's several opportunities depending on your interest.
Good stuff.
Very, very cool. Well, listen, one final question before we hop off here, Dan. This gets back to your coaching with Bill Bell.
There we go.
So Kenny being from Pittsburgh and Le'Veon Bell, how long would Le'Veon Bell have lasted with Bill Belichick if he started doing this holdout stuff? And same thing with Odell Beckham. I mean, would they last very long with Belichick, or how quickly would he had him on the first bus to Cleveland?
They wouldn't have started the season with the situation as it is, that's for sure.
Yeah. You know, that's what I love about those guys. He's got one superstar and one superstar only, which is Tom Brady, and everybody else, he's got a system that just works.
And no heart.
Yeah, and it's kind of like you guys, right?
He's cold-blooded.
Gronkowski's no slouch. Come on now. Hey, you guys. If you want to break this thing down, there's we got issues too, but I think football is starting to just go bonkers in many regards. In other words, not to get political or anything, but, you know, the emphasis is not on the field anymore as a team, and the emphasis is on the field as a player. So the player now puts himself up in front of a team, and this is so untraditional that I don't know how to react to it. You know, I'm afraid to say anything because I know everything I'm going to say is wrong, but it's because football was this way for so many years, and all of a sudden it's got outside this box, and it's grass growing in between concrete slabs. And in other words, coaches have lost control in many ways of discipline. The NFL used to have rules and enforce them. You know, so now that it's a free-for-all, I mean, you don't know what somebody's going to do next.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, don't worry, Dan. I'm going to connect this back to the glass stat, okay? So here
no.
So
here, no, Dan, I get the final say on this one here because Pittsburgh's playing Atlanta.
Well, no.
In Pittsburgh.
But that's true.
Yeah, but had to sit through a miserable loss with Baltimore. Yeah. Got our noses really grounded into the dirt. They beat us offensively, defensively, and we saw just how dysfunctional our team is. We probably have one of the best teams player for player, offensively for sure. Defensive secondary, we could buy a whole 4 new guys, and you know.
But here's where I'm going. I think
when Atlanta comes to Pittsburgh, what do you think is going to happen, Dan?
Well, our fifth defensive starters not playing in the game.
Yeah.
Dan's going, both teams will lose to the Patriots. It's irrelevant to me. but sort of getting back to the glass stat and the fact that, you know, we all are, we got to tie this in so it makes sense. I mean, we're all dealing with a new group of players or people coming into the industry, right? And they have different expectations. So I think, you know, part of it, you got to have a great environment. So if you're an owner, your space is competing. If you're an employer, your space, you compete with your space to attract good talent. Because Odell Beckham is not going to sit in a room without a glass stat, neither is Le'Veon Bell. And, you know, Kenny and I talked on the show about 3 weeks ago, Dan. There was a high school in Atlanta where the players basically told the high school football coach they weren't going to practice because he was making practice too tough. And now think about that in our day. I mean, but those are the realities we're dealing with. So, you know, if he had a glass stat in the locker room, probably wouldn't have had those issues. So with that, Dan Preston, thank you so much for taking the time.
Hey guys,
Dan Preston from Johnson.
See you, everybody. Hey folks, come out to our road show. Come out to our road show. Mention Control Trends. Get $50 off. I promise you, it'll be worth your while.
And I will back that promise up too, and we'll put a link on Control Trends to those road shows. And I'll do one better than that, Dan. If you give them $50 off, if they don't like the show, I'll give them $50 too. So there we go. So no risk.
There you go.
Dan, thanks so much, my friend.
Okay. See you, Ken. See you, Eric. Thank you.
All right, Kenny Smyers. There you go, big dog. That's another week on Control Talk Now, your smart buildings videocast and podcast. And special thanks to our guest this week, Dan Preston from JCI, and the man, the myth, the legend, who is fond of saying, remember, be bold, stay in control, stay relevant. In this case, make an impact this week.
Indeed, Eric.
Indeed.
It's the chance you've been waiting for. It's the light coming through the cracks.